So I'm happy to lead you in a gentle yoga practice this afternoon. If it's accessible in your home, if you could have handy a yoga block or two, and perhaps even a yoga strap or something that can be used to help facilitate some movement in a strap-like motion. So maybe a long towel or an old belt, maybe a tie. So just taking a moment to gather the props that you're going to need for our practice this afternoon. If you prefer to start in a seated position under a bolster, you can have that handy, maybe a meditation cushion as well. Just taking a moment there to gather what it is that you have available to you today. Just taking another minute here and eventually getting started with your mat laid out. Everything within reach. And then finding yourself in a seated position, sitting in easy pose. The option of being on a bolster or a pillow or a cushion, maybe even onto your yoga block. But looking to find that space where you can allow the hips to release, and a space also where you're going to find some ease and comfort for your opening meditation this afternoon. So taking a moment there to get rooted, become grounded on whatever your seat is resting on. Maybe wiggling a bit back and forth, side to side. Removing any flesh perhaps between your support and your sits bones. Eventually allowing your body to come to a point of stillness. Shoulders softening down the spine. Extension out of the crown of your head. A gentle tuck to your chin. Your hands resting wherever comfortable. Perhaps you choose to soften your gaze forward or maybe even allow the eyes to completely close. Just noticing. Noticing the sensations that begin to come up. Maybe you need to readjust your body to look for that place of comfort. That place of ease. Perhaps you notice a little sway of the body. Noticing the muscles as they begin to soften and release. Noticing and being aware really of any physical sensations that tend to creep in. As best as you can, just allowing them to rise and fall without judgment or simply observing here. We're observing what happens within our physical body or our physical state when we slow down, when we find stillness and carve out that time to notice. Your breath still effortlessly moving in and out here. We're not trying to shape or mold the breath quite yet. And noticing now the rise and fall of the belly with your breath. Becoming aware of where in your body you feel breath. And then taking that shape or that awareness, that physical sensation of where we feel our breath, and inviting breath even deeper into that space. Noticing if this breath comes with ease or effort. Noticing if your breath feels shallow or deep. Noticing the temperature of the air as you draw in breath through the nose. And then allow that breath to release with a gentle sigh through the mouth. Inhaling deeply through your nose. And exhaling with a sigh. Whenever it feels right within your body, I'll invite you to begin to allow that breath now to move in and out of your nose. Just for a moment, observing how that changes the sensation of breath. Taking that next inhale into that Dirga breath that we talked about in our last series. That 3-part breath, complete and full expansion of the mid-body. And then on the exhale, just softening down, belly draws in, sinking some weight into the sitting bones. So moving here in and out of breath. Seeing now if we can drag or lengthen that exhale out a little bit longer than the inhale. For some, it might be helpful to assign a number to that. So for example, if you're taking that inhale in for 4 seconds, let's see if we can allow that exhale to roll over into 5 seconds. Exhaling for an ounce longer than the inhale. And noticing as we begin to shape and mold our breath, how that changes the sensation within our physical body. Perhaps that space where you most heavily feel your breath residing has changed. Or maybe it hasn't. It's just an observation. Knowing that in our practice this afternoon, we can always come back to this breath. There's never a rush. Your mind begins to wander, that's okay. Noticing and drawing it back, bringing it back to the inhale and the exhale. We'll stay here for another few cycles of breath. That full expansion on the inhalation. And that deep release and softening on your exhalation. Gently become mindful of the outer edges of your body. Noticing the temperature of the air around you. Beginning to curl and move the fingers here, rolling them in to make fists perhaps. Expanding the fingers, spreading them wide, bringing some movement into the hands, however that comes. Eventually allowing the hands to come to heart center, palms to touch. Allow the chin to gently tuck. If you have your eyes closed, gently allow the gaze to softly open. And taking the gaze to the tips of our fingers. Deep inhale through the nose, and on the exhale, releasing hands away from the body. And removing any bolster or prop or block that you do have under your sitting bones and just putting that off to the side of your mat, accessible for future use. And then from there, reorienting yourself, sitting up nice and tall, chin is level with the ground beneath you, crown of your head extends upwards. On the inhale, let's bring the hands overhead, spread the fingers, allow the fingertips to touch at the top. And then exhale softly through heart center. Inhale, spread the fingers. Maybe the gaze follows along with the hands this time. Activation by pressing through the palms as we come through heart center. And then taking that one more time. Inhaling all the way up. Exhaling, hands through heart center, and take a moment there to pause with the hands at the heart. Elbows are soft. Gently tuck the chin, softly close the eyes, and set an intention for our practice. Perhaps that intention is being mindful of breath. Maybe it's being gentle with yourself. Maybe it's to be present. And then with the exhale, releasing everything down to the mat, using your hands to guide you onto your back there. Just figuring this out for a moment. So eventually finding that space on your mat. Legs lengthened. Taking them to the bottom corners of your mat there. Slightly wider than the hips. You're just seeing what's going on with our music. Okay. Well. So finding yourself into a form like you would for Shavasana. Your hands releasing by your sides. Just giving me a moment there. I'm going to pause us and I'm going to figure that out. Okay, so there we are. So we are on our mats, lengthened out in the Shavasana-like position, legs wider than the hips, feet gently turning outward, hands releasing beside the body, your gaze nice and neutral up towards the ceiling. Feel the expansion of the belly on your inhale, and the release on the exhale. Just observing how the sensation of breath has changed when we're on our backs, supine lying down. Noticing if that's changed or altered the length or sensation of your breath. Taking that next inhale, bring your arms overhead. Extend the fingertips as long as comfortable. Soften the elbows. And exhale. Inhale, maybe point the toes. Lengthen out through the fingers even more. Feel the weight in your sitting bones and in your shoulders. And then exhale, soften down. We'll take that one more time with your breath. On the inhale, find that extension. Lift through the front side of your body, and then on the exhale, soften down. Draw the knees in towards your chest, and allow your hands to come to the back of the legs for some support. Just take a moment there to lengthen out through the tailbone, guiding it towards the base of your mat. Knees are drawing in, thighs pressed together. The insides of the knees are strong and tight there. Use the biceps to draw the knees in a little bit closer. Hold and breathe. While keeping your knees right where they are, release the hands and extend them to a T, shoulder height or lower. Your palms are offering up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, take the knees gently over to the right. Allow them to settle wherever they fall. If you have that block handy and you'd like to, you can put it under the knees for some support there. Your left shoulder is glued to the mat. Your gaze is neutral towards the ceiling, or if you'd like, you can turn it in the opposite direction of your knees, so over to the left. Breathing deeply here through that left side body. Noticing how as we hold, we begin to find some space. And maybe that space in your body means we remove the block or adjust the edge to find more stretch. Maybe it means we breathe through that left arm all the way down the side body. Hold for another round of breath. In and out. Taking your next inhale, slowly draw everything back through midline. Knees once again come to chest. And then exhale, taking the knees now over to the left. Option again of having that block handy, bolstering it underneath the knees if you'd like. Maybe your gaze is neutral or over to the right. That right shoulder is remaining connected with the mat beneath you. Observing sensations that come up through that side body, maybe into the back. Every exhale is that opportunity to draw down or find further release within your body. You deciding if you want to move into that space or if you're quite content right where you are. Take that next inhale, begin to draw your knees back up through center. And then from there, allow both feet to meet the mat, hip distance apart. Press through the feet, gently tuck so that the tailbone is connected with the floor beneath. And then exhale, knees to the right. Taking a bit of a flow with the breath here. Inhaling, knees through center. Exhaling, knees over. So allowing this movement here to be guided by whatever length of your breath is happening right now. So nice and slow, allowing the breath to guide the movement, not the movement to guide the breath. And the option of allowing your gaze to move in the opposite direction of the knees, taking the full twist or keeping it neutral at the ceiling. Okay. So being where you need to be this afternoon in your practice. Maybe that looks different from the last time you practiced. We'll take another round here, side to side. And then once you've completed that, knees come through central, neutral position. And then just take a moment here to feel the right foot on the mat. Feel that physical sensation underneath your heel, underneath the baby toe, underneath the big toe. Prime the body for movement. Use the inhale to draw the right knee in towards the body. Take the hands behind the thigh and hold there. The option of keeping this left foot on the ground or extending the leg long, and if you choose that, we can draw the toes up. Inhale, bring that right knee closer to the body, guiding it towards the outer right shoulder. Allow that right heel to fall wherever it does. If you have that extension in the left leg, continuing to press out through the heel. Use another inhale to guide that knee close to the body. And then on the exhale, we're going to lengthen up towards the ceiling. Okay? That lengthened right leg, the toes are going to draw up. The option of having full expansion or extension rather through the leg or finding softness through the knee. If this is feeling okay in your body, you can release the grip. Take the arms out nice and wide, palms are offering towards the ceiling. We're holding. So focusing on drawing that expansion, or extension rather, through that back of the right leg, but also extending out through that left leg. Your pelvis is neutral. Everything rooting and grounding down into your mat with equal weight from left to right. We'll take another breath here. Full inhale, complete exhale. Use that next exhale to draw that right knee in towards the body and then lengthen it down to meet the left. If you had that left leg bent, just for a moment, maybe exploring by lengthening both legs side by side and just observing the difference in sensation from left to right. And then on the inhale, let's draw both knees in towards the body. Exhale, soles of the feet meet the mat. Hip distance apart. Taking a moment now to just first observe that left foot on your mat. Beginning to prime the body for movement now on the opposite side. Inhale, left knee draws in towards the body, hands behind the thighs. And then deciding if you'd like this right foot to maintain contact with the mat. If you'd like, you can extend it long to the bottom of the mat, toes are drawn up. Left knee's drawing in towards the body, maybe the outer edge of the left shoulder. When you're ready, use that next exhale, lengthen leg up towards the ceiling. Be generous here, nice and gentle. Knee can be bent, leg can be extended. Hands can be behind your thigh, hands can be wide. Okay. So keeping that activation by drawing the toes up on both feet. Energy is drawing out through the heels, so energy upwards towards the ceiling and outwards towards the bottom of your mat. Our weight is still even left to right on our sitting bones, or in the glutes. Finding that full breath here. In and out through the nose. And then on that next exhale, preparing to release by softening that left knee. And then lengthening out the leg to meet the right. If you have that right foot on the mat, just taking a moment there to lengthen both legs. And just observing, noticing where you felt that in your physical body. On the inhale, draw the knees in towards the body, hug them nice and close. And then on the exhale, we're going to allow the feet to touch, pinky edge of our feet come down to the mat as your knees fall wide for a reclined cobbler's pose. Your hands can fall wherever comfortable, maybe on the belly or even beside the body. The option of taking your blocks and using them underneath the knees there for some support if you'd like. Okay. Deciding what edge you'd like that to be on, but we'll be here for about a minute or so. So finding what works in your body, where you need to be. Good. Beautiful. Noticing here as we hold if space is created. And then deciding, do you move into that space or do you stay right where you are? Maybe we use that exhale to find more release through the jaw, through the shoulders. Noticing if you're clenching or holding on to anything here. And if so, can you let it go for your practice? Noticing here as we hold, if your mind wanders. And just so bringing it back to the breath. Inhale. And exhale. Allowing ourselves now to come out of our cobbler's pose. So removing any blocks that you may have there off to the side. And then on the inhale, taking the knees in towards one another. And it might feel nice there just to bring the knees towards the chest. Find a bit of a rock side to side. And then softly release the soles of the feet once again to come to the mat. And then reach for your yoga strap or that towel or tie or whatever it is that you were able to grab onto. And then on the inhale, we're going to draw that right knee in towards the body. Then we're going to take our yoga strap and gently loop it underneath the toes there, not quite on the arch, slightly above. And then we're going to take our strap, both sides, left and right, into that right hand. On the inhale next, we're going to lengthen that right leg up towards the ceiling and draw the toes towards the shin. So lots of energy there. And notice if you're really pulling on that strap. And if so, can you soften the elbows down, shoulders away from the ears, and just allow that strap to be a gentle guide. Okay? The option of keeping this left foot on the mat or finding that extension by taking the leg down to the floor. Good. On the inhale, we're going to press up through the heel. Holding here. The knee can be soft if you prefer. But really just looking for that space where we can find a deeper hamstring stretch than we did earlier without the strap. So we're evenly rooted left to right onto the glutes and sitting bones. If that left leg is extended, we're pressing out through the heel, lots of energy. Holding here for another breath, softness through the chest. From there, we're going to transfer the strap into that right hand only. We're going to extend that left arm wide, shoulder height or lower to counterbalance. Inhale, press through the heel. Exhale, begin to open up the hip, slightly guiding it over to the right. The knee can be bent, the leg can be extended. It's up to you. Allow that right elbow to be soft. Left hip or left glute rather is going to stay connected with the mat as we hold. Looking at that right foot, let's see if we can turn slightly outwards with the foot so that the pinky edge of your foot, the whole side is lined up with the floor beneath you. And just notice how that's changed the sensation within the inner thigh. So extending and holding and breathing, lots of work going on here. Be gentle with yourself, find the edge, and breathe into that space. We'll hold for another round of breath, in and out. And then use that next inhale to engage through that right thigh, soften the knee, and gently guide that foot back up towards the ceiling. Transferring the strap there into the left hand, open up through that right arm, spread the fingers, let's find some energy there. And then let's continue to draw this right leg gently over to the left. Taking the stretch now in through the outer glute. This time, big toe side of that right foot is aiming to line up with the long side of the mat. So a slight internal rotation there of the foot. And then notice how that lit up the outside of the right leg. So this internal stretch here, it's not a very large movement. We're not coming all the way over to the floor. We're using the advantage here of turning that foot slightly inwards to engage through the outer thigh. So breathing into wherever you're feeling this right now. Can you find softness? Can you find more release? On the next inhale, we're going to slowly guide that leg back up towards the ceiling. Good. Take that right hand to meet the strap, soften the elbows, and begin to guide the toes towards the top of the mat. The option again of that knee being bent or having the full extension through the leg. Holding and breathing another round of breath. And then on that next exhale, if you don't have the bend in the knee already, let's offer a generous bend. Softly release the strap and then lengthen right leg out once again to meet the left. If you had that left leg bent, just taking a moment there to observe sensation left to right by taking both legs now. Beautiful. So removing the strap, we'll move over to the other side. So draw both knees in towards the body, hug them tight. Exhale, soft your feet down to the mat, hip distance apart. Taking the strap now over onto the left, preparing for movement on the opposite side. Inhale, left leg draws in, taking the strap gently underneath the foot. Offering strap into both hands. Let's exhale, lengthen leg up towards the ceiling. So adjusting as you need to there. Be mindful of the toes, mindful of the arch. Somewhere in between is good. And then the option now, keeping this right leg on the floor or lengthening it down. inhale, press the heel up towards the ceiling. Softness in the elbows. Shoulders are still nice and relaxed. And hold and breathe. Maybe this side looks different than the opposite side. And that's okay. That's normal. It's to be expected. As we hold here, noticing if weight is evenly distributed from sit bone to sit bone or left to right. Adjusting as you need to. As we hold, maybe finding more space for movement, more space for stretch. Slowly preparing to open up now to the left. So taking the strap into the left hand, opening up the right arm nice and wide. When you're ready on an exhale, allow the leg to release over towards the left. Find that space where you begin to feel the stretch on the inner thigh. Right sitting bone remains activated and pressing down into the floor. Maybe the knee is bent. Maybe the leg is long. Turning so that that pinky toe side of the foot wants to line up with the long edge of your mat. If you're there and you have a lot of space still for movement, you can think about drawing the toes up towards the top edge of your mat. Okay, so be where you need to be. Exploring what the movement looks like in your body today, but always be mindful of the edge of the pose. And I always love to teach saying that the edge is what we think is 90%, but perhaps just finding that 70%. And just allowing yourself to sink into that space. Breathing here, using the next inhale to soften the knee, draw the leg back up through center, switching hands with our strap. And then when you're ready, opening that left arm wide, releasing the leg over to the right now. Big toe side of your foot wants to become parallel with the outside of the mat. So a slight internal rotation. Beginning to feel that now in the outer leg, all the way up through the glutes. Maybe the knee is different here. Maybe you'd like to bend it deeper. Or if you had it bent, maybe you want to play with extension. Toes are drawing up still. Energy out of both heels. Let's use that next inhale to guide the leg back up through center. And then begin to take both hands to the strap. Gently guide the toes towards the top of the mat. So staying here for another few rounds of breath. In and out. Use your next exhale to softly release the strap. You can lengthen the leg to meet the right. If you had that right leg bent, or the knee bent rather, you can extend for a moment if you'd like, just to feel. Breathing in through the fronts of the hips there, noticing that space that we've just created. And on the inhale, you can guide the knees in towards your body, hug them nice and close. Give a little rock there if it feels good for you. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to softly land both of our feet onto the mat once again. Walk the heels comfortably close to your body here, just as you need to. Tailbone still pressing down towards the heels so that your low spine is connected with the mat. And then from there, we're going to inhale, right knee in towards the body. Take your hands behind the thighs to guide it in. And then we're going to cross the ankle just above the knee there. And then allow the right knee to fall wide into our reclined pigeon pose. Maybe figure four, whatever you'd like to call it. The right toes are drawing up. We're holding here. Hands comfortable wherever they fall. And just noticing if this movement right here is enough for your body in this moment. And if so, we're just going to hang out here for a minute or so. The next option will be to float that left knee in towards the body. If you choose to do so, right hand comes between that space we created to reach for the back of the thigh. Left hand comes to the outside to meet the right. If there's more accessibility right now, or access rather, we can take the hands to the shins, so long as both shoulders remain glued to the mat. So be where you need to be for this practice. But find that space where you begin to feel sensation in through the outer right hip or right glutes. You can allow that left heel to fall down wherever it may towards the sitting bones. Don't worry about activating through there. Right toes continue to be drawn up. And noticing again if you're carrying anything in through the jaw, and if so, maybe giving the jaw a bit of a wiggle to release. And as we hold here, once again, noticing if we've created space for deeper movement. And then deciding if you'd like to move into that space. So maybe you draw the knee a little closer to the body. Or if that foot is on the mat, perhaps you play with lifting the foot away from the mat. As we hold here in stillness, deciding if you want to gently rock the hips a bit side to side, and just notice how that changes the sensation. So lots of options, lots of variations to play with here. Choose what works for you. Taking another cycle of breath in, nice and deep. Exhaling so fully. If that foot is away from the mat, the left foot, slowly releasing the grip and guiding that left foot to meet the mat once again. And then from there, releasing right foot to mat. Walk the heels close to the body. And then inhale, left knee draws in, hands behind the thigh, and then crossing the ankle onto that right thigh. Allow the left knee to open. Toes are drawing up on that left foot, hands resting wherever comfortable at this point, maybe on the belly to reconnect with breath, or maybe keeping the chest nice and open. And just observing here for a moment before going any deeper. Noticing if our pelvis is neutral, left to right. And then deciding where you'd like to be for your reclined pigeon. If you'd like to go deeper, threading the hand through, guiding right knee in towards the body. Allow the right heel to fall heavy. Shoulders are drawing away from your ears, a little bit of extension out through the crown of your head, a gentle tuck to your chin. And holding and noticing where you feel this in your body. Noticing if you're clenching or grasping or holding on. And if so, trying to release with the breath. Deciding if you're perfect right where you are, or if you'd like to explore a little bit more. Maybe using the strength of your arms to gently guide the knee closer to the body. Or perhaps it feels nice to offer a bit of movement, rocking side to side. Exploring how the most subtle changes can change the entire experience within your physical body. Maybe deciding that that right foot wants to be on the mat. Or if the right foot is on the mat, maybe it wants to float away for a breath or two. Eventually, preparing to release on an exhale, the right foot comes to meet the mat if it's not already there. And then we allow that left foot to come and meet the right. Let's take the arms generously wide here. Spread the fingers as much as you can. Press the nail bed into the floor. Feel the low back release the weight from the mat. And then on your exhale, let's take the knees over to the right. Allow them to rest. The option again of using the blocks underneath your knees. Gaze can be neutral, or you can take it in the opposite direction over to the left. Holding here. As you hold, you might decide that you want to take that left knee and stack it on top of the right. Your left shoulder continues to be grounded into the mat beneath you. As you hold here, you might decide you want to go a little bit deeper and offer that left leg in full extension. Toes can come to the mat, perhaps. So holding, breathing, experiencing. Noticing if there's more space now through that left side body than when we did this earlier. Perhaps this pose, your reclined twist, comes with a little bit more ease. If you've extended that leg, we'll bend the knees, stack the knees, and then on the inhale all together, let's come back through center. Take a moment there to reset. When you're ready to exhale next, taking the knees now over to the left, allowing them to rest, using whatever prop you need there or choose to want to have. You know, maybe this is perfect on this side. It doesn't have to look like the opposite side. If you're choosing to change the pose, let's take that right knee on top of the left. Right shoulder is glued to the mat still. The option of finding extension by lengthening the right leg. Maybe toes come to mat. So playing on this side with what's going to work within your body, what it is that you need. Whatever variation you're in the reclined twist, we're continuing to breathe that long, full, deep inhale, and the exhale that's just a sip longer. Observing the right side body here and through the intercostal space and between the rib cage, softening with the exhale. If you've extended that right leg, we'll bend the knees stack on top of one another. And then on the inhale, all together, come back up through center. And then once there, you can invite the knees in towards the chest. Arms sweep around to hug them close. We offer a gentle rock side to side there. Eventually, allowing the soles of your feet to come and meet the mat. And let's take the soles of our feet slightly wider than hips towards the long edge of your mat. And then allow the knees to come inwards to rest against one another. Gently tucking the tailbone, lifting up through that low belly space. Let's take the hands, one on the low belly, one on the mid belly, just below the rib cage. Maybe you choose to close your eyes here or soften your gaze on a point above you. On the inhale, begin to feel the belly lift away from the body. And then on your exhale, feel the hands soften. Your belly draws in towards the spine. Inhale, press the hands away through full and complete expansion of the belly space. And then exhale, soften the ribs. Release mid-belly. Draw low belly in towards the spine. So breathing here in and out. And just noticing the subtle movements that come from our breath. Notice the rise and fall of the low back away from the mat. And then connecting to the mat once again. Maybe you begin to notice how the weight shifts from our shoulders down to the sitting bones. We'll stay here for another few rounds of breath, in and out, just observing and looking for those subtle changes that come simply from breathing. Gently releasing the hand placement, offering your hands generously wide, and then lengthening your legs to the bottom of the mat. So taking whatever it is that you need here to be comfortable in Shavasana. If you have an eye pillow, maybe allowing that to rest on top of the eyes. You need to grab a sweater to find some warmth, taking that, maybe a blanket. So making your way into that point or that position of comfort here for Shavasana. If you haven't done so already, releasing any need to control or shape or mold the breath. And just allow your breath to freely move in and out of your body. And noticing what that looks like. Noticing if your breath now comes with ease or effort. Observing if that breath is deep within your body. Noticing if the rate or rhythm of your breath has changed. And then directing awareness now down to your heels. And just feeling the weight fall heavy into your heels as your feet turn slightly outwards. Draw awareness up the back of your legs, the calves, the backs of your knees, through the hamstrings and into your sitting bones. And then use an exhale to completely release the weight of your legs into the floor beneath you. So fully supported here. Taking awareness up through the sitting bones, the low back, mid back, all the way up to the shoulders. And then maybe when you exhale next, the shoulders fall heavier. As the awareness travels down the backs of your arms, your elbows, the hands. Maybe you find a little bit more length out through the fingertips. Exhaling, the body falls heavy as awareness comes to the back of the crown of your head. Maybe your weight falls heavier into that space. Unclenching the jaw, softening the lips. Finding full and complete stillness here in Shavasana. Your body's so supported. We'll take some time here together to be present and to simply breathe. to feel the outer edges of your body. The toes, your fingers. And just feeling your body in space here. And giving the tiniest of movements to your hands and to your feet. Just allowing this movement to be so subtle, to come fairly organically, so don't think about it too much. Just begin to draw some movement in whatever form feels right. Maybe you rock your head a bit side to side. Maybe you take a nice big good morning stretch. In your own time, you can roll onto your favorite side, cradling your head and your arm, knees come to chest. And then pause there for a handful of breath. Maybe your eyes remain closed, or you begin to flutter the eyes open. Eventually taking that top hand and guiding yourself up into a seated position. Maybe you sit on a block or a bolster. Sitting up nice and tall. Just taking a moment here. And then on the next inhale, bringing the arms overhead. Allow the palms to touch. And then guide hands down through heart center. Just allow them to rest on the heart. Gently tuck the chin. Just take a moment here to acknowledge whatever the intention was that you set for your practice at the start of our class together. And then release that with an exhale. From my heart to yours, thank you for practicing with me this afternoon. Namaste. Thank you so much. Be well.